Level 1, the bedroom DJ. You are 22. Dropout. 2 part-time jobs. You started DJing because you went to a house party in 2019, watched some guy behind a controller make the whole room move, and your girlfriend at the time looked at him the way she had stopped looking at you. Then he took her home. That is the whole reason. No deeper story. You bought a cracked version of Virtual DJ from a Reddit post and a $650 controller that wiped out me 6 weeks of warehouse shifts, and you set it up at 2 a.m. because that is the only time that belongs to you. You do not know what a cue point is. You do not know what gain staging means. You do not know the difference between a low pass and a high pass filter, and when someone in a Discord server says it like common knowledge, 3 months from now, you will nod and pretend you already knew. Your roommate has stopped asking about the rent directly. He just leaves the electricity bill on the kitchen counter where you will definitely see it. Then you open YouTube. Marcus Garish, 22 years old. Same age as you. The same DJ from that house party. Vegas residency. 400,000 subscribers. You close the tab. What you don't know yet is that Marcus Garish is going to be the reason you almost quit and the reason you don't. Level 2, the student. You are not DJing yet. You are studying how DJing gets done, which sounds like the same thing and is not the same thing at all. The tutorial chain goes like this. You search how to mix in key. That video ends by recommending Recordbox. The Recordbox tutorial assumes you own CDJs. CDJs cost $2,200 each. 2 of them is $4,400. That is 4 months of rent. The video does not mention this. You try 3 different EQ approaches in the same week. Each tutorial contradicts the previous one on at least 2 things. You accept this as normal. It is 3 a.m., and you have made no actual sound and just spent $27 on a plugin trial you are definitely going to forget to cancel. You practice by ear instead. No sync, headphones, manual pitch adjust, 2 tracks trying not to drift. They drift every single night for 3 weeks. On day 22, they hold for a full minute without separating. You do not celebrate. You start over from the beginning because 1 minute means nothing in a real room. You already know that. Then the USB. $2 at a thrift store, in a bin between a broken clock and an unopened pack of Tums. The folder is called My Sets Backup Do Not Format. 61 live sets, 2019 to 2023, labeled only by date and city. No track lists, no names. You spend 3 months identifying every track by ear, learning how the person who made these read rooms when they held before a drop, when they cut early, how they made a crowd lean forward 30 seconds before anything happened. They never appeared on any lineup you can find. They just played rooms and disappeared. No tutorial teaches what this drive does in the first week. You tell 4 people you are a DJ. 1 asks for your SoundCloud. You send a 17-minute mix recorded on your laptop mic that clips in 3 places. He listens to 40 seconds. He doesn't bring it up. You don't either. 14 DMs to local promoters that month. 9 read receipts. 4 no responses. 1 reply, not the right fit right now. You screenshot it. Not because it's good news. Because someone at a real venue read your name and had a reaction. 13 others gave you less than that. Marcus Garish posts a new tutorial on mixing technique. 380,000 views in 4 days. 2nd year at Vegas confirmed. 1 promoter hasn't responded yet. Level 3, the opener. The promoter who replied books you for a Thursday, not a Friday, not a Saturday. A Thursday at a bar in Midtown that holds 180 people and currently has 13 of them in it. You play 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., get paid in a drink ticket and a verbal maybe for next week, and spend $19 on gas to get there. 3rd gig, 2 weeks later, you make the mistake every DJ makes exactly once. Wrong track, wrong moment. The energy that took 40 minutes to build leaves the room in 30 seconds. Half the crowd rotates toward the bar. The sound guy looks at you from the booth with an expression that contains an entire medical opinion about your future in this industry. You do not recover. You lean further into the track that cleared the floor. 3 people stay and dance harder than anyone has all night. You remember exactly where they are standing left of center, near the subwoofer, 8 feet from the stage. That is the first real decision you make as a DJ rather than someone who owns equipment. You will not understand what it meant for another 7 years. Your rider is 1 item, 4 bottles of Heineken. You do not drink Heineken. You added it because you watched a documentary about a touring DJ, and this felt like the correct move. The bar gives you 2 and charges you for them anyway. Then the eviction notice. It arrives on a Friday while you are driving to the gig that pays $75. Your bank account has $340 in it. The landlord wants the apartment cleared in 30 days. The math does not help, so you stop doing it. You play the gig anyway because it is the only forward motion available. You play better than you ever have. Nobody in that building knows this is happening. The music doesn't know either. That turns out to be useful information. Something shifts around the 6th Thursday. The bar staff starts arriving 15 minutes before their shifts. No comment, no acknowledgement. You notice because you are always there early and you watch them come in and set up without being asked. A room that expects something from you is a different room than one that doesn't know you exist. You are building something nobody has named yet. Marcus Garish gets announced as headliner at the same venue, 8 weeks from now. His name in large font. You see it at 11:52 p.m. after your set, close the app, and open it again 3 minutes later. A different promoter was in the room on the 5th Thursday. You don't know this yet. Level 4, the promoter's asset. Your name on the flyer. Not the top. Not the middle. A font 2 sizes smaller than the venue's Instagram handle. You screenshot it anyway. You show 2 people. That is how you know it still matters. The new promoter operates at a different scale. Larger rooms, real lighting, a sound system worth more than everything you own. The first booking is a 500-cap venue in the city. A real step. Then 3 days before the contract arrives, the regional festival slot you had been tracking goes to Marcus Garish. He responded to their email in 12 minutes. No questions. No back and forth. Full yes. You spent 4 days asking about sound system specs and whether your set could run 15 minutes over. The festival went to him. You are playing the 500 cap room. Marcus is playing the outdoor stage. The contract arrives. 6 pages. The kill fee clause is on page 4. You ask what a kill fee protects against. The explanation uses the phrase unforeseen circumstances twice. Later you will understand it primarily protects one of the 2 parties. That party is not you. Then the setlist document, not suggestions, a timestamp spreadsheet. Track order, energy arc, specific drops mapped to specific times for the door camera. There is a column labeled energy management. You are being asked to place the feeling of music on a grid. You follow it exactly. The crowd responds exactly as the spreadsheet predicted. You are very good at this. It will take some time before you understand that being very good at following a spreadsheet is the warning sign. The next contract has a social media clause. 3 posts minimum per event, tagged, copy approved in advance. You are now a marketing channel that also DJs. The night pulls 340 people. The promoter clears $6,800 after costs. You made $350 and personally drove 60 of those 340 through your stories and DMs over the 2 weeks before. You do not do this math until 3 weeks later when it lands in a context that makes it sit wrong. You say nothing. You sign the next contract. Marcus posts from the festival. Outdoor stage, afternoon slot 2, 500 people in frame. He tags the promoter. The promoter reposts within 6 minutes. You are watching this from your apartment, which you are still fighting to keep. A manager was at the festival. She wasn't there for Marcus. She left during his set and found your mix through a link someone sent her. By Monday, she has your email address. Level 5, the signed DJ. The manager's first sentence is not about your sound. It is, I want to talk about your publishing before we talk about anything else. You nod in a way that implies understanding. You do not fully understand what publishing means in this context. She knows you don't. She explains it slowly, like someone who has watched this particular conversation go badly too many times to rush it. She has a label in mind. Mid-size history of breaking electronic acts into European festival circuits. The A&R sends 3 reference tracks before the meeting. 2 of them are records Marcus Garish has been running in his sets for the past year. He writes down what you say and uses the word sonically 4 times in the follow-up email. You reply totally agree and reattach the same mix you sent him 2 weeks ago. He responds, perfect, the deal. The advance is a number with more digits than you have seen next to your name. The masters belong to the label for 8 years. The recording fund covers studio time and mixing and is recoupable. The marketing budget is also recoupable. Your lawyer costs $350 an hour, and by page 18 you understand that the advance, the recording fund, and the marketing spend are money you will pay back before you see $1 of your own. Marcus Garish signed 6 months before you. His advance was larger. He did not ask about the masters. The A&R mentions this once neutrally as context. It is not framed as pressure. It functions as pressure. You sign it the same afternoon the final draft arrives. Your manager says that was faster than she expected. You do not tell her that you understood exactly what you were signing. You just decided the door was worth the price of entry. Staying on the other side of it, following energy management spreadsheets in 500 cap rooms for promoters who own every night you build is its own kind of contract with no advance and no exit. The label schedules the release, 6 months out. A tour follows, 31 dates. Someone sends a writer template. You have never had a writer before. You put in a vodka brand your manager suggested. The calendar closes forward by 6 months in a single week. You are told this is what in-demand looks like. You are not told what in-demand costs. Level 6, the high life. Ibiza. The writer is a full page now. Someone carries a bag that belongs to you through an airport, and you let them because that is apparently what this looks like. The sunset at Ushuaia hits exactly when the drop does, and 4,000 people feel the same thing at the same moment. This part is not a performance of what success is supposed to feel like. It is the actual thing. It gets its full due here because everything that follows requires that the thing before it was real. 47 cities, 14 weeks. The hotels stop being distinguishable around City 23. In City 31, your tour manager mentions you have played Denver twice before. You have zero memory of either visit. You nod like you do. You do not try to remember. There is no point. The city is already behind you. The hearing goes in Berlin. Left ear, high-frequency ring, first noticed on a flight home. Persistent. The audiologist in New York uses the word permanent in a sentence, and then keeps talking, and you stop processing the rest of that sentence because that one word is doing enough work. She says reduce monitor volume. You turn the monitors up at the next show because the alternative is hearing the music smaller than it is. You understand this is the wrong direction. You do it anyway. Marcus Garish is 3 cities ahead on a parallel routing. His crowd numbers are slightly larger at comparable venues. His sets are tighter, more predictable, the drops landing exactly where any reasonable person would expect them. The booking agent mentions the gap once in a scheduling email, neutrally, as context. You read that line 4 times. Then something no tutorial prepared you for. A stage manager approaches mid-set at City 38 with a written track request from someone in the crowd. The track is yours. From 18 months ago. They do not know you made it. They just want to hear it. You play it. You watch them react to something you built alone at 2 a.m. That is a specific kind of proof that something you made is real enough to exist without you attached to it. The festival confirmation arrives the following Thursday. Tomorrowland, main stage. Your name on the banner. Marcus Garish on the same bill. Different stage. Same time slot. The booking agent sends it as one email with both names in it. You screenshot it for a reason that is different from every reason you have ever screenshotted anything before. Level 7, the festival performer? The drone footage will get 4 million views. Your name is on the banner in a font that is no longer 2 sizes smaller than anything. 80,000 people. Main stage. The largest crowd you have ever stood in front of by a distance that has no useful comparison. You are standing inside all of it thinking about the monitor mix. And whether the left ear is getting worse. And whether Marcus Garish's crowd number on the adjacent stage, which you checked on a tablet 40 minutes ago, is still higher than yours. It is, by 8,000. The DJ Mag Top 100 comes out that month. You are number 34. Marcus Garish is number 31. Halfway through the set you make a decision that is not in any brief, and not in any spreadsheet, and not something you can fully explain in the moment. Except that the USB has been in your equipment case for 3 years, and the track you rebuilt from it has never been played to a room large enough to hold it. You drop it. Something from 2021, rebuilt, recontextualized, stripped down to what it was before anyone told you what accessible meant. The crowd number drops. Not a disaster. A hesitation. 4 minutes of people recalibrating, unsure what the instruction is. The sound guy turns from the board and finds you with his eyes. It is the same expression he gave you in the bar in Midtown 3 years ago when you cleared the dance floor and leaned into the track that caused it instead of recovering. You hold it. You do not reach for something safer. The 4 minutes pass. The number climbs back past where it was and keeps going. You finish 8,000 ahead of Marcus Garish. He never took the risk. His set went exactly where everyone expected it to go. Nobody writes about the 4 minutes your number dropped. You think about almost nothing else for the next 3 days. The executive's email arrives that night. Subject line, momentum. He has a vision for the next record. 4 reference tracks attached. 2 of them are Marcus Garish releases. He uses the word momentum 4 times in 11 sentences. He uses the word integrity once, near the end, in a sentence that is doing significant work for a single word. Your manager calls the next morning. The careful tone. The kind she uses when she is deciding how much of what she actually thinks to say out loud. The label wants a meeting about creative direction. You tell her you will be there. You already know what the meeting is going to ask you to give up. You go anyway. Level 8, the awards. They read your name in a room full of people who know exactly what it means. Not a blog, not a playlist. A ceremony with a dress code in a building where the names being called are the names on the records that define the year. A stylist picked what you are wearing. Someone on payroll manages the version of you that exists in public. You are sitting 4 seats from an artist whose sets you transcribe track by track from a USB drive in your equipment bag, trying to understand how they built the feeling. The award is heavier than expected. You stop mentioning this because every time you do, people make a face. The speech. You thank the USB. You describe a folder called My Sets Backup Do Not Format. 61 live sets 2019 to 2023, labeled only by date and city, found in a thrift store bin for $2. Nobody in the room recognizes the description. Someone tweets what is he talking about, and it gets 43,000 likes by morning. Somewhere the person who recorded those sets either hears about this or doesn't. You will never know which. The award goes on a shelf next to the USB from that point forward. You spent 3 years following reference tracks and briefing documents and the word accessible. Whoever left that USB in a bin never heard any of those words. They just played rooms. That is the whole difference. Marcus Garish is not nominated. His last 2 records streamed well for 6 weeks each, and then the algorithm moved. He is still working, still headlining. But something in the trajectory has shifted, and people in the industry have started describing his peak in the past tense. You notice this and say nothing. You know exactly what that shift feels like from the inside. The contract renewal lands the same week. More creative direction, larger advance. A timeline that does not account for what the last 3 years did to your hearing or your schedule. Your lawyer reads it over 2 days. 3 improvements are real. 5 are the same restrictions in different language. The advance is a larger loan. You negotiate. You retain publishing on all new work going forward, not freedom. A better arrangement. A handwritten note from the executive arrives with the paperwork. Congratulations on a remarkable run. It is addressed to a version of your name nobody who has ever known you has used. You put it in a drawer. You sit in the studio you own and open a blank project. 20 minutes pass. You have no idea what yours sounds like anymore without someone telling you what it should be. Level 9, the return. Tuesday. Nothing on the calendar. No label call, no booked session, no email flagged for same-day response. The first Tuesday like this in longer than you can accurately place. You sit in the studio and listen to what the silence sounds like. You have not done this on purpose in years. You watch what happened to the DJs who came up alongside you. One pivoted to sync licensing television, trailers, library work. He posts less, seems less worried, and from the outside appears genuinely at peace with the trade. One burned out in the way that generates think pieces about what the industry does to people. His name still appears in those pieces. He probably doesn't read them. Marcus Garish is headlining a festival tonight. 40,000 people. His last 2 records spent 6 weeks in the Beatport top 20 each, and then the streams declined at the rate all algorithmic careers decline slowly, without drama, without anyone writing about it. The machine extracts what it can and reorganizes around whoever is currently saying yes the fastest. The USB is in a box in the corner. That box has been there since you moved in. You plug the drive in. 2 seconds to load. The folder is still there. My Sets Backup Do Not Format. 61 sets, still unlabeled, still unattributed. You still do not know who made them. At this point, you are not sure you want to. You open a new project. Not for the label, not for the brief, not for the algorithm. You rebuild the track you dropped at Tomorrowland. Stripped down further than the festival version. Built for a room of 400, not 80,000. It takes 40 minutes. You save when you're close. 400 tickets. Your city. 11 minutes to sell out, not because of a playlist, not because of a brand, because the people who found the Tomorrowland recording came back looking specifically for the 4 minutes the crowd number dropped. They came for the risk, not the result. You play the track, the room moves. Not because they were told to. Because you built something alone at 2 a.m., found it again in a bin for $2, nearly lost it to a brief and a man who used the word momentum like a threat, and brought it back to a room small enough to feel it land. That was always the whole job. If this one was stayed with you, like and drop a comment with where you're watching from. Subscribe for more.